everyone who is joining us online. Today we will be having all of these sessions in English, since we are broadcasting out to the Nordics today, as well as we have several speakers here today who are English speakers. So a warm welcome to everyone here. As you can see, or you've probably seen before, we are focusing today on Copilot PC, Adobe, and Intel. And this is a mesh together or a partnership that we are trying to showcase what is probably in the future or is already here today with meshing hardware with silicone with software and bringing that AI togetherness in all of it. So hopefully we will show you some new stuff and what is coming with everything that is new with Copilot PC, with all the developments that Adobe has, as well as all the features and functions from Intel, which brings everything together in this all. So a big welcome again from us at TD SYNNEX, and our part of this is just that if you have seen our logos or presentations, it usually says that we're making IT personal, and this is what it's all about. Just bringing everything together to work in a productive, effective, and secure way. So this is the presentation that we're going to have today. And first up of all of these excellent speakers that we have today is Anders Demner from Microsoft. So warm welcome to you. Please join me.
Thank you. Oops. Thank you, Alexander. So nice to be here. Thanks all of you for coming here, and I hope everyone sees me good through internet also. I will have huge difficulties here because I'm used to walk around talking, but I have to be still now to be in the stream. But I will probably do okay. So my name is Anders. I come from Microsoft. And I will be talking to you today, about Copilot PC, this segment of AI PCs that will help us to be a bit more effective and productive at work, save some time to do what we do best. And I will also run through some, show some live things, or it's actually videos of the functions in a Copilot PC. But first, to get some basics on the line. We at Microsoft, we just love making studies and we love numbers. And earlier this year, we did a study, a worldwide study, where we interviewed over 30,000 people around the globe on how they see life at work, basically. And some of the findings in there was that actually 80% of us feel that we don't have enough either time or energy to do a really good job. At the same time, 82% of business leaders say that it's probably time that we rethink how we run our companies and organizations. And here is, of course, where AI can come into play, or more the maybe combination of AI and human. Because I really believe that working with AI, you get superpowers. I use a lot of AI on a daily basis, and I truly get superpowers. That's how I feel, because I get help on the things that is not necessarily my expertise. I can get help from AI on focusing on what's important in my role. And Alexander knows that there are a lot of things that I'm not the expert of, so I'm using a lot of AI. No, just kidding. What you will see a little bit later on also is that we talk a lot about less search, more do. We feel that we spend too much time searching for both files and information, and too little time on actually doing stuff. And also, I want to spend a couple of seconds on AI agents and agentic AI. I mean, it's already here, but it will explode and become even bigger. And AI agents are really powerful, and they can really help both us as individuals, but more importantly, the companies and organizations we work for. So if you haven't read up on AI agents, do so. I read a study from Gartner. They predict that in 2028, 15% of all business decisions will be taken by AI agents. So we are in for a ride with agentic AI for sure. But now when we are consuming more and more AI, we also need devices to handle all of this AI. And we have for some time had a concept or a segment of PCs called AI PCs. I think maybe the term is kind of fluffy, but the common factor for an AI PC is that it has an NPU. An NPU, to put it simply, is the AI expert in a modern processor, and it will be able to take care of AI workloads directly on your device, not being dependent on the cloud all the time. Then, talking about this NPU, there are, of course, different versions and variants of it. And in order for something to be called a Copilot Plus PC, which is my theme of today, it must have this NPU, and it must have a capacity of at least 40 TOPS, 40. And TOPS, that's how you measure how fast this NPU is. And it stands for trillions of operations per second. So if you have a PC with at least 40 TOPS, at least 16 gigabyte of RAM, and at least 256 gigabyte of hard drive, then you have a Copilot Plus PC. And you have a very fast and intelligent PC, of course, to handle AI workloads directly on your PC, but it's very capable of doing non-AI tasks also, of course. And just to be crystal clear, you can find the Copilot Plus PC from any PC manufacturer, HP, Dell, Lenovo, Asus, Acer, Samsung, our own Microsoft Surface also. Anyone who manufactures a PC can manufacture a Copilot Plus PC also. And then why is it important to be able to handle AI directly on your PC? Well, we are standing in a situation where we will have another explosion. I talked about agentic AI being an explosion, but we also have a lot of software that will have AI functionality that will use the NPU. There are hundreds and hundreds of software vendors that either have done it or are in the making of incorporating AI functionality that is using the NPU. Adobe, for example, that we will hear later today, have done this already. And these are just examples. There are hundreds and hundreds more incorporating this. And here is where you can talk about future proofing, because if more and more software that we are working on a daily basis with will use this functionality, if you don't have a PC with an NPU, you will simply not be future proof, because this will be coming fast, and we see new examples every day popping up of software using this technology that will want to use the NPU in a PC. To the right-hand side, it says Windows AI Foundry. That's something else that will push this development. Windows AI Foundry is a platform from us at Microsoft where you can develop and distribute AI apps. And this is both for very small companies as well as very large companies. So with AI Foundry, you get models, you get library of code, you get a lot of help to start developing your own AI applications. And last week, we had a huge event in the US in San Francisco called Ignite. And I heard a lot of news from there that there are thousands of companies at the moment using Windows AI Foundry to develop AI apps, either to sell on or use for their own processes. So this is something coming with a high speed also. So believe me, a lot of the software we're using will use AI functionality very shortly. But then back to Copilot Plus PC. So what you get with a Copilot Plus PC, yes, it's a very capable PC in general and handling AI on the device. But actually, with the Copilot Plus PC, you get extra functionality in Windows. You see examples of it on this screen, and in a couple of minutes, you will also see how they work in real life. Just to be crystal clear again about one thing, in order to use these functions, you do not need any kind of license. There's no Copilot license required to use these functions. All you need is the PC that is a Copilot Plus PC. I know that we confuse a lot of things with calling almost everything Copilot these days. But yeah, no license required for this. And what we aim with these unique AI functions is, of course, increase productivity and drive higher efficiency at the workplace. And I've been talking a bit about performance, that they are very capable, fast and intelligent PCs. They also actually use less energy than a standard Windows 11 PC. And you get a longer battery life with the Copilot Plus PC. Plus 20 hours battery life as a minimum is what you get with the Copilot Plus PC. Security, actually, security on a Copilot Plus PC could be its own webinar or live event, because you get added security in a Copilot Plus PC also. Much thanks to what we call Microsoft Pluton, which can help and act as a TPM chip, more or less, take care of your personal data, your login details, your encryption keys, and so on. But Microsoft Pluton has more functionality than a standard TPM chip, so you get an extra layer of security with Microsoft Pluton. And if you have a Copilot Plus PC, then you have Microsoft Pluton. And trying to put this into some numbers, if we talk about these productivity tools that you will see in a while how they work, I said we love to do studies, so we have done studies on people using these tools. And what we can see is that you can actually save up to 5 working hours per week using these tools. And I guess all around the Nordics that we have roughly 40-hour work week. So that's more than 10% of the work week saved, which is a huge number, of course. Talking about efficiency, actually a Copilot Plus PC is configured to run more smoothly than a standard Windows 11 PC, with less breakdowns, less, the good old-fashioned blue screens and so on that keep you from working. So with the Copilot Plus PC, you can expect to spend up to 30% less time on device management compared to a standard Windows 11 PC. This, of course, has an effect that we see that the number of cases to internal IT help desks, they reduce a lot when you're using a Copilot Plus PC. And then we have security again. To try and put a number on that, actually, with the functions in the Copilot Plus PC, we block up to 70% of the typical breach vectors. And a breach vector, that's basically how a hacker gets into your system, like phishing, like virus, like identity theft. But we immediately try and block 70% of that with a Copilot Plus PC. And security is very important. You could maybe think nowadays that Microsoft has AI as its main priority, but actually we still have security as our main priority. And I read somewhere that every 14 seconds, a company around the globe is attacked with some kind of phishing attack or ransomware. So that means that I've been standing here for 10 minutes. What is it? Roughly 35, 40 companies have been attacked during the time that I've been standing here. And cyber criminality is the third largest economy in the world, only behind the US and China. So we must take security very seriously. But now, let's go to the fun stuff. How do these functions in a Copilot Plus PC really look like, and what can you do with it? And now I really wish I could stand by the screen pointing, but yeah, I feel like the speaker of the house or something here, standing here. So let's start with recall. So recall. It is one of these unique features in a Copilot Plus PC, and it takes snapshots of what you're doing on your PC up to every 5 seconds if something is happening to your PC. Snapshots, it's not like it takes just pictures of it. It saves instances where you have been working on your PC, which makes that you can go back in time and take off from something you worked on yesterday or 2 weeks ago or 3 hours ago. It also enables some new ways of searching for information. And I was talking about less search, more do. When you enter recall, this is what it looks like. And down below, you have your recent snapshots you can look at. You have a search bar, which we will come back to. And then you have a timeline where you can actually scroll back and forth between these snapshots or instances on your PC. There's also a blunter tool to the left where you can skip like 1 day or half a day in time. But just like I said, less search, more do. And I guess this calls for a different way of searching. And just to show what I mean, I will do a search here where I will try and see the LinkedIn pages I visited last week. So I simply type LinkedIn last week in the search bar. And you will get some results of it. Now I know the text will be very little, but all the dates here are actually from last week. So it captured, exactly what I said. I was just using my own, words saying, hey, LinkedIn last week, and it gives me that. Here I clicked on one of those snapshots, and I got transported to that LinkedIn post that I clicked on. So, and we are talking a lot about this with the search thing. Another thing, I don't know if this is the case with everyone, but we at Microsoft, we love our SharePoints. And I have so many SharePoints I need to access. I have my own, my division have one, and the subdivision of the subdivision have one, and the countries have one. So pretty shortly, in my real life, the bookmarks of SharePoints get very long. And it's very important for me to do my work, either to share information or view information. So I need to access a lot of SharePoints. And I can assure you, I have spent a lot of time searching for different SharePoints or calling a colleague in another country asking, where do I put this info? What SharePoint? In the next example, I will look for a business plan for a made-up company called Blue Ledger that I have put in a SharePoint. So I will simply type Blue Ledger in the search bar. Oops, oh, there we go. And I will get some results. And I can start filter them on those. Do I look at PowerPoint, or is it, a file in the Explorer? No, it's SharePoint that I want. And pretty soon I find the screenshot and I click the link and instantly I'm moved to that SharePoint. I'm logged in and I can find my business plan for Blue Ledger. For me personally, this is saving a lot of time. And I think this is the case with AI. This is the case with the functions in a Copilot Plus PC. It's very personal how you use it. I do it one way. My colleague doing the same job as he might use it slightly different or for a different purpose. But I feel I'm really, really saving time with this. This way of searching for information is also a separate function in a Copilot Plus PC called Windows Improved Search, where you more describe what you are looking for. And of course, you don't have to be in Recall to use this. You can be in your File Explorer too. So in this example, I will be looking for a file that contains my forecast for this company, Blue Ledger, that I'm using as an example. So I will simply type forecast Blue Ledger up to the right. Doing that, it will find an Excel file. And when looking at that Excel file, yes, it's my forecast for Blue Ledger. As you can see, the name of the file is Business Review Q1 FY26. So it doesn't say forecast, it doesn't say Blue Ledger, but still Windows is able to find it. And I think I'm not the only one that have been sitting there trying to recall what did I call this file or parts of the file name. Yeah, I see some faces now that say, yes, I've been there, I've been there. So thanks to this, you can once again save time that I can devote to something that is much more productive than trying to remember what the file is called. Another function in a Copilot Plus PC is Click to Do. And I'm using this mainly to help me understand the text. In this example, this is some kind of legal text, I think for some kind of shareware on internet. For me, this doesn't make sense at all. It's all capital letters, and in some places there aren't even spaces between the words. So I would need to spend quite a lot of time on understanding this. With Click to Do, I can mark this text and have Click to Do summarize this in a bulleted list. So let's do that. I wake up, Click to Do, mark it, and ask it to create a bulleted list. It needs a couple of seconds to think about it, but pretty shortly, it starts giving me some bullets in understanding what this text is about. So it helps me once again save time. I don't have to call a lawyer or spend an hour actually trying myself to understand what this text is about. Once again, these are just examples of how I have been using it. You can also use Click to Do to extract images into Paint or whatever program you want. So there are more options with Click to Do. The last function that you're going to see here is called Agent in Settings. And even though I work at Microsoft, I do not like to search for a setting. I get lost all the time. You click somewhere in the menu and you click OK, tick in a box, execute, and then you realize I'm at the wrong place and have to go back and do it again. You also see I have glasses and I'm not the youngest one in the room, so I need larger size on the fonts in Windows for me to be able to read. Simply, I search for larger font in the search bar at the top. Doing that, I will actually instantly get a recommendation on increasing the size to 125%, or I get some more options there to 200% or 150 or whatever I need. So I don't have to go into the menu structure to find these settings. So it's a lot about less search and more do with the Copilot PC. And in my example with LinkedIn there on searches, you can of course also search for PowerPoints I opened last week or Excel sheets I shared during the last month or something. It's about using natural language and describing what you're after instead of remembering file names and such. And these things that I showed you here were just examples of some of these unique features that you only get if you have a Copilot PC. There are more examples, like live captions, for example, which today has live translation in Windows from right now 40 languages to simplified Chinese and English. But we're constantly adding more languages, and we will also add more and more of these functions that you only get if you have a Copilot PC. And just to wrap this up, I think I will say one thing again, that you do not need any kind of license to do what I showed here. These unique functions in a Copilot PC comes with the hardware. And you will get these in due time through Windows Update once they are ready for your PC model and the language and the country that you're in. For example, with recall, we didn't have it within the EU for quite some time due to EU legislation. But we took care of that so that we were compliant with EU legislation. And now we are rolling out recall also inside the EU. And with that, I'm done. And I will be here, the rest of this event. So if you have some questions or anything regarding a Copilot PC, I'm here to answer them. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Anders. Just to add on to this, I didn't say it earlier, but this is actually what I do at TD SYNNEX. So this is my part of it. And a little add-on here. Thank you, Anders, for that awesome presentation. A thing that is very important to bring with us now that we're talking about the new features and the new functions of a Copilot PC, together with all of these software developers that are rebooting their AI functionalities to talk to the NPU, is that if we stay behind on an older laptop that does not have the NPU, all of these AI functions are looking for a processor to talk to, and they will end up on the CPU and the GPU. And those two processors are not made for AI. They cannot handle AI in the same way. So we will burn out those computers faster. That is also a big part of this, why we need to make this transition into the new segment of it. Moving on to our next speaker. Please welcome Charles Bateson from Adobe.
Adobe Acrobat Studio is all new. What can PDF spaces with AI do? Drag in research, drop in thoughts. Watch AI pull insights from your docs. Got the data? Do a recap. Generate a slick graph ASAP. You did your thing. It's time to share. Then let your team build from there. Ideate, generate, do it real quick. Let AI assistants do the trick. All wrapped up? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat.
Hi everyone, I thought I'd start the presentation a little bit differently rather than going straight into introducing myself. My name's Charlotte and I am the pre-sales technical specialist for Adobe at TD SYNNEX. And I thought starting with this video is definitely the right way to go. It's the energy that Adobe has in this video that is the energy that I have when I talk about the products from Adobe. It's new, it's fast, it's innovative, and if you're a little bit sleepy, hopefully that woke you up a little bit. So this was just a taster of what Adobe has to offer in the Gen AI space. As you know, we can see we're in a new era of Gen AI. Adobe is not just that PDF solution anymore. Hopefully people will stop coming up to me at events saying, "You're the PDF guys, right?" Not anymore. Acrobat Studio is an entry point into AI in document workflows. And then we have the transition into Firefly and the creative apps to show how AI and the NPU can truly accelerate creativity. So the new era of Gen AI, we are standing at the edge of a new dawn. An era most not of marble or paint anymore, although I do still paint in my own time. We'll never forget that, but of light, code, and neural threads. An era where creativity and intelligence no longer compete, but they collaborate. This is the new era of Gen AI, and more so with Adobe and the new era of documents and creativity. It's not a vision for the future, it is happening now. For too long, we've spoken about technology as if it was something outside of us, a tool that saves us or replaces us. But what if that story is incomplete? What if all of that is needed is curiosity? What if the true power of technology isn't what it can do for us, but in what it can help us become? This is the philosophy behind Adobe and their generative AI. A new AI-powered home for productivity and creativity, because technology shouldn't replace humanity. It should reveal the best of us. Business needs are changing, and we are in the forefront of this innovation. It is a new creative literacy. So we are learning a new language, prompt engineering. AI becomes a thought partner that enables vision, emotion, and tells a story, much like I'm doing today. Firefly frees us to focus on the why behind creation. 82% of creatives are currently using and plan to continue using generative AI, with 74% believing to continue using it, helping them to work more efficiently. The automation of frequent and time-intensive workflows not only frees up creatives to focus on more strategic and high-level tasks, but to maintain brand consistency and reduce the level of tasks around fear, around having to work to be redone. For me, AI on a daily basis, I do use it. Obviously, you can see here from the imagery that is created. This is from Firefly. Now, if I was a graphic designer trying to create an image like this previously on Photoshop or Illustrator, it would have taken me a few weeks to do so. But with Firefly, this took me 5 minutes, less than that. So AI software like Adobe Firefly allows creatives to cycle through different creative elements and treatments for quicker results and working smarter, not harder. Emotional and social shifts are something that I tend to look at when we're talking about AI. Creative AI is changing how we think, work, and shape ideas. Collaboration now includes digital agents that listen, learn, and co-create. This isn't replacing the human spirit, it's extending it. It is curiosity, collaboration, and innovation. Emotional and social shifts, of course, they change. Everything changes. It comes with emotion. Creative work is full of emotion. That doesn't stop with the AI we see in Firefly, Acrobat Studio, and Express. We feel empowered, a little bit anxious, of course, but we trust that this AI allows us to be able to create things and still represent who we are as humans. We're not replacing them. We do pause asking when to rely on AI and when to listen to the quiet intuition that defines our humanity. But this arrival of creative AI has blurred the boundaries between our imagination and the tools we use. And Adobe is a fantastic example of how the tools that we're using are being brought together in one ecosystem and not separate tools across what we're using today. So who's adopting AI? When we talk about AI, we do have to talk about in Adobe who is adopting it. So whether you're in your internet era, your mobile era, or your social era, I think I'm still definitely in the mobile era. I'm not big on mobile phones and technology, even though I work in technology. Social era, it's a little bit, I'd say, for the younger generation rather than myself. But when you're stepping boldly into the AI era, Adobe meets you where you are, okay? And then it takes you further. So from all the new Acrobat Studio to Firefly Express, from Creative Cloud Pro to Enterprise Suites, Adobe continues to shape how we create, collaborate, and communicate. Each tool is more than just software. It's an ecosystem built to empower that imagination and amplify productivity. With generative AI models woven directly into Adobe products, creativity is no longer confined to time or technical limits. Your ideas can take some time to generate, but with Adobe, you can instantly, by guided and intelligent AI, create that Copilot that helps you ideate, explore, and produce at the speed of thought, whether refining a photo, composing a layout, crafting a video, or generating content from a simple prompt. Adobe's AI tools turn inspiration into execution seamlessly. And if we're looking at who's adopting this AI and looking at it in the term of generations coming into the workplace, for example, we have Gen Z and millennials. 46%, nearly half, say generative AI is already improving their lives. They are the most optimistic of any group. Gen X, 36% are a little bit more cautious, with over a third saying generative AI hasn't affected their lives at all. From a creative perspective, 58% of Gen Z and millennials are the most open to using AI creatively, with more than half saying it boosts their personal creativity. Customer experiences, 72%. AI's impact on everyday experiences is becoming clearer. In a recent Adobe study, 72% of consumers said that they trust AI to improve their customer experience. And obviously, when we're talking about software and we're talking about AI products, customer experience is definitely going to be a word on everybody's lips when they are talking to their customers. Now, I would definitely agree with quite a lot of these comments. Part of my role is generating content, creating presentations, writing blog posts. And everybody knows that sometimes when you're busy, that blog post that you have to create can sometimes sit on the back burner. Oh, I'll do it next week. I can't think about, I don't have an idea. I don't have an idea today. With generative AI, I can prompt myself a storyline that can kickstart that creative motion and then kickstart myself and give me that energy boost to write that blog post. When it comes to video, helping me create video, I'm definitely optimistic now. When it comes to AI, video is not my strong point when it comes to Adobe products. I come from a photography background. Still image is my Bible, not video. But as you saw previously in one of the moving animations on my previous slides, I was able to generate that with Adobe Firefly within 3 minutes. Again, it helps me boost my creativity and my productivity within the presentations I have to create for events like this or customer presentations. We have the 4 components of Adobe Firefly when we're talking about AI. This is how Adobe is doing this. The first one is generative creation. So creating through language, using prompt to generate ideas and bring them to life. Then we have the AI assistants, being able to refine and expand ideas. Express integration, generating within your own workspace. And then number 4 being the trusted Adobe workflows, creativity built on reliability. If we think back to the late 1990s, the problem wasn't how do we make better documents? It was how do we make better workflows for people? Today, we're asking that question again, but with the power of intelligence built into every step. Acrobat Studio, for example, turns those document workflows into dynamic ecosystems where insights flow, creativity scales, and collaboration happens at the speed of a thought. If we look at Adobe Firefly, which we'll take a look at in a second, you can enhance, you can have enhanced ideation and creative exploration with brand compliance, safety, all built in. So let's talk about this new era that transforms the way we work. Collaboration is key now more than ever. Hybrid environments are using generative AI workflows and workstations more than ever. If we look at Adobe Acrobat Studio as an example, this new ecosystem brings together these four components to brings together four components that redefine productivity. Within Acrobat Studio, you have PDF Spaces, which is your automated AI workspace. You have the AI agents with AI Assistant to be able to help you summarize information. I, for one, definitely don't like reading. So if someone sends me a 100-page PDF, I am probably not going to finish it. With AI Assistant, I can generate that summary and ask the questions I need to ask in minutes. With Express, you have the creation tools, design capabilities built into your workspace. If you don't have a lot of marketing background or a lot of skills in creativity, for example, you can then use Adobe Express to generate that. I have no marketing experience, but generating one-pagers, generating posters for an event or marketing materials can be done within Express for those non-creatives. This isn't about working faster. It's about, as I said previously, working smarter, deeper, and more humanely. So again, here, just a quick glimpse of what Firefly can do and the amount of things you can do with it. And I think, again, to reiterate on the what we said before about who is adopting AI with Adobe, everyone. Adobe Firefly, Adobe Express, Acrobat Studio, all can be accessed by non-creatives, HR, legal, sales, marketing teams. Anybody who doesn't have experience in creativity or Photoshop or Illustrator can use these AI tools that Adobe are bringing to the table to create what they need, no longer outsourcing, for example. So when we look at an example of what is already being used with Intel, for example, in terms of the NPU that they're going to be talking about in the next session, generative fill of Photoshop, generative AI within Adobe Premiere as well is massive right now. When we look at generative fill in Photoshop, some of the things that could take a lot of time, clicking, taking the background, looking for the image that you want to replace it with, erasing that image, changing the opacity of that image. With generative fill, prompting, using text prompt to generate what you want to see can be done in seconds rather than within weeks. And this is where the collaboration across Intel and Adobe work really nicely together as well. As you can see here, in just a few clicks, the image and the idea of what we have in our minds comes to play. So rather than just a bookshelf, you've got the jungle in a few seconds, the floor changing to grass, different types of grass, moss, and whatever it is that you want to take a look at. Adding in lakes, again, using prompt text in seconds, your image is transformed and changed. Now, this previously, before the use of generative fill and generative AI, would have taken probably a few weeks to generate. You would have had to have taken the photos, found the photos, cropped the photos, cut the photos. Now with generative AI, we no longer need to do that. So when we look at the ecosystem of collaboration, obviously collaboration being a key word that we use a lot within Adobe. Adobe, Intel, Microsoft form the Gen AI powerhouse team when we're talking about collaboration. Creativity, performance, and productivity all in harmony. So how does this all fit together? Safe to say no renaissance ever happened alone. Okay, it takes ecosystems, and it takes this new AI renaissance is no different. Adobe's generative AI tools like Firefly, Premiere Pro are transforming how we create, design, and communicate. But when you bring in Intel's advanced AI hardware acceleration and Microsoft's NPU-enabled devices, that power of productivity within platforms gets you something extraordinary. A Gen AI powerhouse team. We have Adobe with the creativity and generative content, Intel with the next Gen AI performance, Microsoft with their productivity integration. Together, they're creating a new model of human AI collaboration where tools anticipate your needs so you can focus on a vision. So utilizing the NPU, as I said previously, we have Premiere Pro, Photoshop, and Acrobat. So in Photoshop and Premiere Pro, AI acceleration makes imagination instantaneous. Featuring Creative Cloud Pro and Enterprise in Firefly, and you've got some real-time generative previews to adaptive creativity. So these are just a few examples of what can be done here. So where does this all lead? The generative AI renaissance isn't just a technology revolution. It's a creative one. Success won't depend on how powerful the machines become, but on how deeply the humans learn to collaborate with them. When intelligence and imagination align, something extraordinary happens. We stop asking, what can AI create? And we start asking, what can we create together? This isn't the future. This is now. This is the new era of Adobe. This is the new era of generative AI, where creativity, collaboration, and productivity all converge into one. So with generative AI, the barriers to big thinking fall away. The only limit is your own creativity. Companies are taking the bold steps to unlocking the potential for generative AI, and it is something that we should do collaboratively. Now, when it comes to Adobe, just before I finish today, I do want to say that me and Hannah are around to be able to talk to you guys after the session. If you do have any further questions or you'd like to see some demos, we do have a station there as well. But I just want to leave you with this quote, because I feel like this is very important into the way creativity is going and the way Adobe is going. So thank you for your time, and I hopefully will see you after the session.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. Awesome. That's some cool functions, actually. I got some ideas myself. So Anders' eyes lit up here and thinking about making cooler PowerPoints, I'm assuming, adding into it. So we've talked a lot about the NPU, both coming from Microsoft side and from Adobe side, and how we can actually utilize all of this. So why don't we get the people who actually make the NPU up here. So please give a warm welcome from Intel, Chloe Lewis.
Perfect. So hello everyone, and I'm Chloe Lewis from Intel, and it's a pleasure to be here in Stockholm today for you all, and hello to everyone on the bridge as well. So here at Intel, what we like to talk about is the AI PC. And I know you've heard a few different people speaking today about the AI PC, but at Intel we talk about the AI PC as having 3 different compute elements. So we've got the GPU, we've got the NPU, and we've got that CPU. So the GPU is really for those high throughput tasks. And just to give you a quick analogy, I like to think of the GPU as that hurdler. So they're all going to be running analogies, but think about those spikes that you need, those peaks in performance. So as you go over those hurdles, you need that increased compute. And that's where the GPU really shines. So if you think about photo editing, content creation, gaming, those high graphical workloads, that's where we're focusing on the GPU. Then you've got that NPU, and this really is that low power, work all day power horse. So if you think about a marathon runner, they're going to run all day, they're just going to go. And it's something that's going to happen in the background. So this isn't something that we necessarily need high compute loads for, but this is for those background blurring in your Teams call, where you just want it to happen. You don't really want to know it's happening, but it's there working in the background. And it's also for those security use cases. So we were talking earlier about security running locally on the device. So we like everything to be local because then we don't have to use the cloud. And when we're talking about confidential workloads, we need that to be local on the device. And that's where the NPU again can just run all day in the background, running those security workloads, finding those threats that might be happening and running at a low power. And with the NPU, this very low power means your device can run all day without having to charge it. So you don't need to worry about taking that charger with you. And with some of our latest generations as well, we've got a 50% increase there. So really making that battery life last all day so that you can do all your other tasks at the same time. And then finally, you've got the CPU. And that's Intel's, it's our bread and butter. It's what we've done for years. And the CPU is for those really fast response times. So when I right click a button on my laptop, I want it to load instantly. When I do different operating system functions, I want that to happen quickly. So this is the sprinter of our compute. So this is what's going to happen instantly and really low latency. So as we go through, we're driving scale and we're making a lot of progress here. And we've got work with over 250 ISVs, so really high touch ISVs, and 80% of those are developing with Intel's OpenVINO. And this is our AI and inferencing toolkit to help you really accelerate your workloads on Intel hardware. And we've got ISVs from all different sectors. So you can see on the right here, we've got some video conferencing. So, the companies you all know and probably use, like Teams, WebEx, Cisco. So all doing that video conferencing. And we're optimizing to run different elements on different devices. So doing that background blur on the NPU, whether you're trying to do eye gaze tracking. So if you're actually looking down at your screen, you want your eye gaze to still look like it's on the camera, we can run that on the NPU as well. Then we've obviously got content creation, and we've heard a lot from Adobe there about, the different sorts of content creation we have, and we're going to show some live demos on content creation as well. And then obviously your standard Office applications that you've got. So running, your PowerPoint, your Words, doing those searches that we've seen, being able to do that across all the different workloads there. And then this is just showing the growth that we are seeing at the minute. So you can see that pie chart here on the left, and this is showing our future generation. So on the left, you've got our current one, on the right is the future. And you can see there how many applications are being optimized to run on that NPU. Obviously, the GPU is still a massive powerhouse that a lot of the applications are running on, especially those graphic compute applications that need that slightly higher workload. And then we're sort of categorizing these into different buckets. So you've got the bucket that's better on AI PC. So this is things that we could do previously. So, everybody's used Teams and click the background blur button. And that's not necessarily running on NPU. We've had it for years before we had an NPU. But now what we're saying is we can do this better using the AI PC. So once we offload to the NPU, we've got that increased battery life. And things like content creation. We were able to do it before. We could do it in the cloud. We could get discrete GPUs in our systems and do content creation. But now we can do it with a really lightweight machine, like the one here. It's very lightweight, but I can do everything locally on this device. And then there's the category of new on AI PC. So these are the things we couldn't really do before. So your sort of AI deepfake detections. We're working with a lot of different companies, but McAfee are the big one, and they're doing audio detection of deepfakes. So walking around Stockholm, I can see Roger Federer is everywhere. He's advertising all the different, his brands, different brands. But if I see a video online of him advertising something to me, how do I know it's really him? How do I know it's not a video that's just been generated? And that's where things like our deepfake detection come in, and we can actually see, this isn't Roger Federer. Somebody has generated an image of him or a video of him very accurately, but it's not him, and maybe he's not advertising a legitimate product. And then we've got video presentation creation. So this is the likes of Canvid, and we've got one of my colleagues is going to join us to do some demos on Canvid and talk a bit more about the ISV ecosystem. So if I want to welcome you up onto the stage now, and whilst we do that, I'm just going to try and join the call so we can actually see the demos.
So we are a small team at Intel covering the 250 most important ISVs all over the planet, more or less, and making sure that all the best is utilized from the Intel hardware. Right now, our focus is heavily on AI, but 5 years ago, it might have been on touchscreens, and 10 years ago, it might have been on something else. But right now, our focus is very much on the AI things, and Adobe is one of the ISVs that we're working with. But in Europe, we're working with a lot of small ISVs as well. And today I was planning to show Skylum, which is a Ukraine-based photo editing company that is 100% focused on AI. And Canvid, which is a screen recording software, and screen recording software quickly use cases for that is to record presentations, publish them on YouTube, just do small demos of software features. They're really popular in the education space now, for example. So if you want to a teacher want to send out a small video to the students about this is the homework for today, and this is don't forget to take your clothes for the gymnastic lesson, just to be able to send out this video looking professional. And because we obviously can't show the demo here now, the really powerful thing with this is that you're using AI to first clean up and remove the background, but if you don't have time to record a webcam because you didn't fix your hair, you didn't do your makeup, you have bad lighting, there might be a lot of reasons we don't want to record a webcam. Then you can just take a webcam from 3 weeks ago when you were looking good, when the lighting was perfect, and it uses that webcam and generates your lips and everything. So you add after the fact a webcam and make that presentation a little bit more special, and we can show that demo out afterwards. Or, for example, if you did something wrong, you said that this was running on the GPU, but you wanted to say that it was running on the NPU, and you just did a 5-minute recording. You don't want to make that recording again. With AI features, then in Canvid, you get an automatic subtitling. You go into that subtitling. Oh, here I said NPU. And you mark that and write GPU. And Canvid will re-render your voice. It will re-render your lips. So you don't have to make this recording again. So more or less every time you use Canvid, you can just do one recording, fix the errors, and get it out the door, or publish it on YouTube or something like that.
We're good.
We're good. Okay. Let me quickly show you exactly what I was talking about. Okay, wait a second. Okay, they asked us to wait just for you online. Okay, good to go. Okay, so let me show you just exactly what I was talking about. So this is Canvid. I selected to record the web page of Canvid. And let's make a 10-second recording. Starting recording. Oh, so this is Canvid. Here you see the 5 most important AI features within Canvid. For example, you can get automatic subtitling with Canvid. Okay, a 15-second recording. The first thing I can do is, just to make it look a little bit more professional, I can, let's use the mouse instead. Just remove the top bar so it looks that. I can change the background so it looks a little bit more nice and professional. But as I mentioned, I didn't record a webcam because I was standing here and I have a strange thing in front of my face. So let's generate a synthetic webcam based on a, now I choose cloud. I don't want to do that, local. And now it's generating a webcam based on my old recording. And this will take a minute or two. Once the model is initialized, it's more or less real time. So it would take 15-20 seconds. While it's doing that, let me talk about the other features here. So the AI webcam effects, for example, Canvid has more or less the best model on the planet to remove the background perfectly, the one you see in Teams, but this is so much better. They're really good. Voice clarity, remove all the background, for example, if the neighbor is cutting the lawn or something like that. And captions and translation to get these subtitles in. Let's see. Almost done with generating a new webcam. And as you can see, let's see how this looks. Recording. Oh, so this is Canvid. Here you see the 5 most. So I got a more professional or more personal presentation quite quickly out of that. And of course, I can move the webcam. I can remove the background. Now that is running on the NPU. The actual lip generation was running on the GPU because that's more heavy. Okay, don't know why that didn't kick in. Anyway, I think you got that. Let me show quickly another demo and we'll get finalized here. Luminar Neo is another application we're enabling. So one new feature that we just worked with them on and that we're just been released is light depth. So they're analyzing a 2D picture to create a 3D model. So I can relight the picture after I've taken it, but in 3D. So, of course, nothing is working now. This worked so good earlier, but for some reason not. Let's show that demo out there. You shouldn't do live demos. Another thing that's really powerful in this picture I took here last winter, sky replacement. So it really selects the sky perfectly. You can see even the things here and even the reflection in the water is done. So you just click to get the sky replaced to something else, which is quite impressive if you want to do quick photo editing. I think we'll leave it with that.
Yeah,
You will have some final words.
Yeah, a couple of final words, and maybe we'll do one more demo just to show some of the things we were talking about earlier. So talking about Adobe, we've spoken about Adobe a lot and we've heard a couple of those features there, but just wanted to show some of that, how search is helping and different things that we can do. So here we've got a couple of video clips. You can see down here, there's lots of different ones. Some are skiing, some are water sports. We can go over to our quick search up here and we can look for water sports. And then if we have a look there, we're getting given the different visuals that are coming back here. So some different water sports. Maybe we wanted to look for skiing and we can then decide which videos we want to add into our timeline. So I might say, actually, yep, this one looks good. Let's add that one in, and we can drag it over here. And then when I'm looking at this timeline, I'm thinking, the colors really don't look very special. So what I'm going to do here is select that clip, and I'm just going to apply this auto color. And this is just going to use the GPU. So you can see over here that GPU effect going on there. And you can see if I reset those colors, how it's done that recolor. And that's in just one simple click. And then the other thing that we have is if we were to import some more clips, so let's just import a few that we've got, and maybe, your friend might have been on a holiday and they've made their own holiday reel. We can open that up here. So let's add that in. And then it's going to do a bit of analysis on these clips that we've added. So it's going to do some speech to text transcriptions, and it's also going to do some intelligent media analysis. So when I then want to look it through my clips and find different things, it's going to have analyzed exactly what's going on. And if whilst we're there, we're just going to import a second clip here just for the next part. And then once my video is loaded, I can add that into my, my actual clips that I've got and start creating further with this. And what we're just going to apply here is something called, and let's find it if we can, scene edit detection. So when you've got a video that's got lots of different cuts, and here I've been sent it by a friend, I don't have the original, so I don't have all the individual clips, but I really want them. I do this scene edit detect, and I say that I want to apply a cut. And then it's going to go off here analyzing, and you can see, we're running other things in the background. So we're still doing that analysis of the clips that we've imported, getting that transcription, but we're going to analyze these clips as well. And hopefully this live demo is going to work. Not that any of our others have worked very well today, but let's just give it a second. You can see it is ticking over. I think our GPU is still being used by our previous task. And hopefully what we'll see is it's going to cut that video down into different segments. And once those segments have been cut, we can decide which ones we want to keep and which ones we don't want to keep. We're going to cancel it for now, and hopefully this will finish. You can see it's hitting that GPU there. And if we just give it a little bit longer, hopefully the media analysis will finish, and then we can continue. I think we've got maybe a few too many tasks running on this for it to be, functioning quite as we want it to. There we go. So that's completed now. So now what we can do is we can start actually searching for different things. And what I'm going to do is just create a new sequence and add in one of our Intel videos. And
hi, I'm Dr. Jack. I'm your host.
And there's some bits in this video that I really don't like. And there's one where he actually speaks about video games. So I'm going to search for that. And we can see here, okay, we've got some visuals, some video games in the background. But what we can do is we can go over here to our text. And actually, here we go. We can see it says we've got video games. So I'm going to open up exactly that bit, and I'll just play it for you. So I can click on the transcription that it's generated for me.
Good to see you too, man. I see we have video games.
So I think it's a bit over the top for a corporate video. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove that bit. So I literally highlight the text that I don't like, and I'm going to press the backspace button. And that's deleted it. And it's rippled through the video. And now if we play it again from the start.
Yeah, good to see you too, man. This is awesome. All right, so what do I have here? Sorry.
Yeah, we love practice and we love gaming.
And hopefully you can see that's, pretty smooth. The video just goes through, and we've removed the bit that we don't like. So this is just some of the features that are available, all running on that GPU and that NPU. You can see there's a small bit of utilization on the NPU, with most of these running on the GPU because they're quite graphical heavy. But I think with that, that brings us to the end, and we'll just flick back. Just to give you a couple of things to think about for the future. So this is our new product, Panther Lake, but you'll all know it as Core Ultra Series 3. So going along with the Core Ultra, we've got the Series 3 now, And there's a few numbers for you to just think about, you know, the 50% increase in our CPU and our GPU. We're getting an increased battery life with this one as well. And over 350 ISVs are enabled to run across this new platform. So this will be launching hopefully in January, and then you'll be able to get your hands on it. And, you know, like now I can use this laptop with battery. This one's going to be even better. So if you have any questions, we'll both be around. We'll have the demo station running some of the demos, hopefully slightly better than we've shown now. But please come and ask us any questions, anything you want to speak to us about, we can hopefully help you with. So with that, yeah, thank you for having us, and hopefully that was interesting.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Chloe and Jonas. All right. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but it wouldn't be live if we didn't have any trouble. That's the way we prove it, that we are actually live. So with that, I think we'll say thank you to everybody who joined us online.